The Jarl, who was a crack in the wall. I am a crack in the wall of the Jarl's great hall. I started as a man, I had a ball. Not a ball, an axe, I swung it in a fight. The Jarl, who is a crack in the wall. The night, a witch turned me into a fisher. When I broke her chair, she said, "You will watch the feast from there. In the stone you will never eat or drink again." The Jarl, who is a crack in the wall. The rain, I see the warriors drinking mead. I see the firelight. I see the woman I loved. She is someone's wife tonight. She passes near my crack. I feel her warmth on my cold stone. The Jarl, who is a crack in the wall. The bone, in winter the wind blows through me. I whistle a tune. The Jarl in the hall asks, "What is that croon?" No one knows it is me, the crack that used to be a king. The Jarl, who is a crack in the wall. The sting, I am growing wider every year. The wall is weakening. Soon the whole hall will fall. I will be the bringing of ruin. I am patient as the grave. The Jarl, who is a crack in the wall. The Jarl's son touched my fisher with his hand. He felt my history. He began to understand. He whispered, "I will tear down this wall and set you free." The Jarl, who is a crack in the wall. The key. So if you see a crack in a wall that looks like a man's shape, do not fill it with mortar or tape. The Jarl inside will curse your mortar to fail. The Jarl, who is a crack in the wall. The veil, crack wall Jarl, fisher king. He watches the feast from within the stone. He waits, he grows, he has no foes. The crack wall Jarl. The bones, the song of the Jarl, who died of laughter. I died of laughter, a joke told by my fool. He said, Why did the Viking cross the fjord? The tool answered, to get to the other side. I laughed so hard my heart gave out. The Jarl who died of laughter, the shout. Valhalla rejected me. Dying of laughter is not a warrior's death. Odin said, you are not worth the breath of the Valkyries. You will wander the earth as a ghost who giggles. The Jarl who died of laughter, the wiggles. I haunt the halls where feasts are held. I tell the same joke. No one laughs, they think I am a joke. Myself, I am the punchline of my own existence. The Jarl who died of laughter, the distance. My fool is dead now, he died of old age in bed. I visited him as he passed, he shook his head. Sorry, Jarl, he whispered, it was a bad joke. I laughed again. The Jarl who died of laughter, the rain. I am still laughing, 1,000 years of the same weeks. I float through long houses, I freeze. The mead with my cold chuckle, they throw bread at my ghost. The Jarl who died of laughter, the host. Last winter a child asked me, why are you laughing? I said I don't know anymore. The crafting of my death was a mistake. I want to stop. The Jarl who died of laughter, the mop. So if you hear a laugh that never ends in the corner of a hall, do not investigate the call of the Jarl will infect you. You will laugh until you die too. The Jarl who died of laughter, the few. Laughing Jarl, endless wheeze. He floats through the halls on a joke's breeze. He laughs, he cries, he has no lies. The laughing Jarl, the sighs. The berserker, who was a snowflake. I am a snowflake, one of billions in the storm. I was a berserker, I was the norm of terror. Now I melt on a child's tongue. The berserker who is a snowflake, the sun. A witch turned me into this when I bit her ear. She said, you will be soft, you will not hear the battle cry, you will fall and never rise. The berserker who is a snowflake, the eyes. I fell on the warrior's cheek, he wiped me off. He did not know I was the cough of his enemy. I cursed him with a chill that lasted weeks. The berserker who is a snowflake, the peaks. I have fallen on 1,000 faces, I have seen the world from a height that is serene. But I miss the rage, the howl, the bite of my own shield. The berserker who is a snowflake, the field. Last winter I joined with my brothers, 1,000,000,000 flakes. We buried a village in a drift that takes. Were many we killed without an axe or sword. The berserker who is a snowflake, the Lord. I am learning to be patient, the storm is my new rage. I fall and fall, I turn the page. On my old self, the avalanche is my new raid. The berserker who is a snowflake, the glade. So if you see a snowflake that falls against the wind's will, do not catch it, you will feel the chill of a berserker's curse. He will freeze you from inside. The berserker who is a snowflake, the tide. Snowflake berserker, frozen bite. He falls with the storm at night. Hey, hey, hey. He drifts, he kills, he has no wills. The snowflake berserker, the chills. The longship of the burning figurehead. Figurehead is on fire. She burns with a green-blue flame. She was a queen once, a witch gave her the name. Torch, she lights our way through fog and dark. The longship of the burning figurehead, the spark. The fire never spreads to the hull, it stays on her hair. She sings when she burns, a song of despair and joy. The crew is hypnotized by her light. The longship of the burning figurehead, the night. In battle she shoots sparks at the enemy ships. They catch fire, we watch them burn their lips, not lips, their sails. We are the fleet of flame, the longship of the burning figurehead, the name. The queen who burns was cursed by a lover she betrayed. She asked me once to put her in the shade. Of death I cannot, she is our luck. The longship of the burning figurehead, the stuck. She will burn forever, even under the sea. If we sink, she will keep burning, we will be a beacon at the bottom for the drowned to see. The longship of the burning figurehead, the key. Last winter she burned a hole in the fog, so bright we saw a new land. We sailed into the light. She laughed, her laugh was crackling wood. We found a home, the longship of the burning figurehead, the foam. So if you see a longship with a woman on fire at the prow, do not sail near her. You will know the meaning of heat. She will light your soul. The longship of the burning figurehead, the coal. Burning figurehead, queen of flame, the longship has no other name. She burns, she guides, she has no heights. The burning figurehead, the tides. The jarl who was a feather. I am a feather, I fell from a raven's wing. I was a jar, I was the king of a fjord. Now I drift where the wind takes me. The jar who is a feather, the sea. A witch turned me into this when I burned her tree. She said, you will be lighter than you were free. But useless, you will never hold a sword again. The jar who is a feather, the rain. I landed on a warrior's helm, I rode into battle. He never knew I was there. His sword did rattle my bones, not bones, my quill. I felt each strike, the jar who is a feather, the pike. The warrior died, I floated off his head. I landed on a child's pillow, she plan. I have traveled the world on the breath of the wind. I have seen mountains rise and oceans spin to the earth. I am the witness of 1,000 years. The jar who is a feather, the tears. I miss the weight of my axe, the heft of my crown, but floating has its pleasures. The down of my being is soft. I am at peace at last. The jar who is a feather, the blast. So if you see a feather that moves against the wind's direction, do not catch it, you will lose your section of reality. The jar will enter your dreams. The jar who is a feather, the streams. Feather jar, weightless king, he floats on the wind's own wing. He drifts, he glides, he has no heights. The feather jar, the tides. The jar who was a glacier's heart. I am the heart of a glacier, frozen solid at the core. I was a jarl who loved too much. I lost a war against a witch who chilled my blood and turned me to ice. The jarl who is a glacier's heart, the price. I beat once every 100 years. My pulse is slow. The mountain trembles when I throb. The valleys know my rhythm is the earthquake of the north. The jarl who is a glacier's heart, the Vikings come to carve me out. They want my frozen gold. They chip at me with axes. I am the cold that kills them. I swallow them into my blue crevasse. The jarl who is a glacier's heart, the mass. My body is the mountain, my veins are rivers of melt. I have forgotten how the summer felt. On my skin I am the winter that never ends. The jarl who is a glacier's heart, the bends. One day the world will warm. I will melt into the sea. I will become the ocean. I will be free to flow around the earth. I will touch every shore. The jarl who is a glacier's heart, the core. My crew is frozen inside me. They wait for the thaw. They will sail again when the ice withdraws. Their eyes are closed, they dream of raids in spring. The jar who is a glacier's heart, the ring. So if you see a glacier with a pulse of blue light inside, do not chip it. You will have to hide from the jar who wakes. He will grind you into dust. The jar who is a glacier's heart, the crust. Glacier heart frozen deep. The jar sleeps under the mountain's feet. He waits, he dreams, he has no seams. The glacier heart, the streams. The shield maiden of the hollow bones. My bones are hollow, like a bird's they are filled with air. I weigh nothing, I float up the stair. Not stare the battlefield, I leap over enemies' heads. The shield maiden of the hollow bones, the dreads. A witch made me this way when I broke a dove. She said you will be light as love, but fragile, one strong blow will snap your spine. The shield maiden of the hollow bones, the line. I cannot wear heavy armor, I wear silk instead. I dance through battles, I am the bread. Not bread, the butterfly, they cannot catch me as I fly. The shield maiden of the hollow bones, the sky. My axe is hollow too, it weighs as much as a quill. I swing it fast, I kill and kill. The enemy never sees me coming, I am the breeze. The shield maiden of the hollow bones, the trees. But the wind can break me, a strong gust snapped my arm last spring. I tied it with a vine. I am the king of mending. My bones heal fast because they are light. The shield maiden of the hollow bones, the night. I have learned to stay low on windy days. I crawl. The enemy laughs, then I stand and make them fall. My hollow bones sing like flutes when I run. The shield maiden of the hollow bones, the sun. So if you see a warrior floating above the bloody ground, do not look up, you will be found. dead before you blink. She is the hollow one, the shield maiden of the hollow bones, the pun, pun, pun. Hollow bones, bird-like frame, the shield maiden has no shame. She floats, she strikes, she has no spikes. The hollow bones, the lights. Who was a snowfall. I am a snowfall. I cover the fjord in a blanket of white. I was a child. I lost a fight against a witch who said you are too warm. Become the cold, the child who is a snowfall, the old. I fell from the sky on the night of my own funeral feast. My crew looked up, they saw the beast of winter in my flakes. They did not know it was me, the child who is a snowfall, the key. I buried their longhouse in a drift 3 feet deep. They dug out in the morning, they could not sleep, for wondering why the storm had come so suddenly. The child who is a snowfall, the sea. I remember every phase. I made a vow to watch over my people from the clouds above. The child who is a snowfall, the dove. When a Viking dies in battle, I fall on his grave, a single flake for the brave. I am the blanket that keeps them warm in the frozen ground, the child who is a snowfall, the wound. Last spring, a child caught me on her tongue. She said, this snow tastes like a song my grandfather used to sing. He was my son, the child who is a snowfall, the one. So if you feel a snowflake that melts into a tear on your cheek, do not wipe it off. The weak are not the ones who fall, The jar inside the flake will guide you home. The jar who is a snowfall, the foe. Snowfall jar, winter ghost, he loves his people the most. He falls, he melts, he has no belts. The snowfall jar, the pelts. Longship of the leaking hull. Our hull is leaking, water rises to our knees. We bail with helmets and with cups. We are the freeze. Fear the jar says row faster, we will reach the shore. The longship of the leaking hull, the oar. The leak is from a wound we took in a battle 3 weeks past. A serpent bit us, the wound is vast. We patched it with a shield and with a prayer. The longship of the leaking hull, the air. The patch is failing, water spurts through the crack. The jar has a plan, he will not look back. He orders us to throw the cargo over the side. The longship of the leaking hull, the tide. We throw our silver, throw our gold. The water slows. The jar throws his own crown. The water knows. We are desperate, it laughs and rises still. The longship of the leaking hull, the hill. We draw lots for who will plug the hole with his body. The loser is a boy named Artie. He is a naughty, not naughty, a brave lad. He jumps into the crack. The longship of the leaking hull, the back. Artie's body stops the water. He dies with a smile. We reach the shore. We row for a mile of silence. We bury Artie in the sand. The longship of the leaking hull, the land. So if you see a longship with a patch of flesh on its side, do not sail in it, you will have died. With Artie, the hull remembers every leak. The longship of the leaking hull, the weak. Leaking hull, weeping wood. The longship drinks the ocean's blood. It sinks, it floats, it has no coats. The leaking hull, the notes. of the sleeping crew. My crew is sleeping, they have slept for 10 years now. We are lost in a calm sea, the waves will not allow us to wake them. They dream of their homes and wives, the longship of the sleeping crew, the knives. I am the only one awake, I walk among the snoring men. I try to wake them, they sleep again. The moment I turn away, a witch has cursed their eyes. The longship of the sleeping crew, the lies. I row alone, the oars are heavy for one pair. I make no progress, the air is still. We drift where the current takes our hull, the longship of the sleeping crew, the lull. I talk to the sleepers, I tell them stories of our raids. They smile in their dreams, they are not afraid. They think they are home, they think the battle is won. The longship of the sleeping crew, the sun. I am growing old alone, my beard is white as snow. The sleepers do not age, they do not know that I am dying on my feet. I will join them soon, the longship of the sleeping crew, the moon. Last night I lay down beside my favorite oarsman. I closed my eyes, I felt the warmth of his tan. Not tan, his skin. I dreamed of the raid where we first met, the longship of the sleeping crew, the jet. So if you see a longship with a crew that looks dead but breathes, do not board it. You will see your own life in a dream. The sleepers will take you in, the longship of the sleeping crew, the spin. Sleeping crew, endless dream. The longship floats on the silent stream. They dream, they rest, they have no test. The sleeping crew, the blessed. The shield maiden of the silver I have a wound on my side that never heals. It shines like silver, a witch's nail made it. I am the giver, pain to myself. I touch it when I need to feel alive. The shield maiden of the silver wound, the drive. The wound leaks light instead of blood, a beam of white. It guides me through the darkest battle. The night is nothing to me. I am a lantern of my own hurt. The shield maiden of the silver wound, the dirt. My crew is afraid of my wound. They think I am cursed. They are correct. The witch said it would be the first and last of me. The wound will grow until it splits me in half. The shield maiden of the silver wound, the staff. In battle, I open the wound, the light blinds the foe. They cover their eyes, I strike a low blow to their knees. They fall like trees in a storm. The shield maiden of the silver wound, the form. The wound is growing. It has reached my ribs. I have maybe 3 more winters. The sips of the witch come to watch me fade. They laugh at my pain. The shield maiden of the silver wound, the rain. I will die in battle, that is my choice. I will scream the silver light with my last voice, and take 100 enemies with me into the dark. The shield maiden of the silver wounds, the spark. So if you see a warrior with a glowing crack in her side, do not stand near her. You will have died before you know it. The silver wound will eat your sight. The shield maiden of the silver wound, the light. The shield maiden has no fear. She bleeds the stars. She has no scars. The silver wound, the bars. Longship of the crying sail. Our sail is crying, tears of linen drop into the sea. Each tear is a prayer for a Viking who was not free. When he died, the sail remembers every man who fell, the longship of the crying sail, the bell. The sail was woven by a widow who lost her sons. 3 of them she wove their names into the runs of thread. She said, "This sail will weep for them forever." The longship of the crying sail, the tether. When the wind blows, the sail moans, a sound of grief. The enemy hears it, they cannot find relief. From the sorrow, it weakens their will to fight. The longship of the crying sail, the night. The widow comes to visit us once a year. She touches the cloth, she whispers the names of her sons. We are not wroth, with her we carry her grief across the sea. Like a gift, the longship of the crying sail, the rift. The tears of the sail have filled a barrel in the hold. We pour them on the graves of our dead. They are the gold of memory. We drink a toast with the salt of the sailor's cry, the longship of the crying sail, the sky. Last winter the sail stopped crying, the widow had died. We thought the sail would be silent, but it cried. For her, a new set of tears, the cycle never ends. The longship of the crying sail, the friends. So if you see a longship with a sail that drips like rain in calm, do not sail under it. The balm of its grief will drown you in sorrow you cannot bear. The longship of the crying sail, the air. Crying sail, weeping cloth, the longship carries the widow's wrath. It moans, it drips, it has no ships. The crying sail, the lips. The lips. The Viking, who was a coin. I passed from hand to hand. I was a Viking, I ruled the land of a fjord. Now I buy bread and wine. The Viking who is a coin, the line. A witch turned me into silver when I paid her in false gold. She said, you will be spent, you will be told what you are worth, nothing but a round of metal. The Viking who is a coin, the petal. A jarl spent me on a whore, she put me in a jar. I sat with other coins, we were the star of her collection. I felt the dust of ages on my face. The Viking who is a coin, the space. A thief stole the jar, he melted us into a lump. I screamed in silver, he did not jump. He sold the lump to a blacksmith, I became a sword. The Viking who is a coin, the Lord. The sword was bought by a Viking, he killed a man with me. I felt the blood, I was finally free. To be a weapon again, I sang with every strike. The Viking who is a coin, the pike. The sword broke in a battle, I was reforged into a nail. I hold a longship's plank, I am the trail of my own existence, from coin to blade to nail. The Viking who is a coin, the veil. So if you find a coin with a face that looks like a Viking's frown, do not spend it, you will drown. In bad luck, the Viking will curse every trade. The Viking who is a coin, the blade. Viking silver round, he has been lost and found. He buys, he sells, he has no bells. The coin Viking, the wells. Viking who was adored. I am a door, I swing on hinges made of rust. I was a Viking, I was the trust of my crew. Now I am opened and closed by slaves. The Viking who is a door, when I slammed her hand. She said, you will be slammed forever. The land of doors is your new home. You will never raid again. The Viking who is a door, the rain. I stand in the Jarl's hall, I see the feast inside. I want to join, I have no hide. To where I am just planks of oak and iron bands. The Viking who is a door, the hands. A child carved a rune into my face last year. Sven was here, I felt the tear of my old self. I remembered my name for a day. The Viking who is a door, the lay. The Jarl's enemies try to break me down with rams. I am the dam that keeps them out. I am still a shield at heart. The Viking who is a door, the part. One night the Jarl was drunk, he left me open wide. His enemies slipped in, they took his pride and his gold. I watched, I did not close myself. The Viking who is a door, the shelf. So if you see a door that has a face carved in the wood, do not enter, you will be understood. By the Viking inside, he will trap you in his frame. The Viking who is a door, the name. Door Viking, hinge of oak, he was a man before he broke. He swings, he waits, he has no gates. The door Viking, the face. The face. The Viking who was a whistle. I am a whistle, a bone pipe that hangs on a chain. I was a Viking, I had a brain that planned great raids. Now I am a sound for sheep. The Viking who is a whistle, the deep. A witch carved me from my own thigh bone. When I lied, she said, you will call the sheep. You will have cried your voice away. You are a tool for shepherds now. The Viking who is a whistle, the cow. A shepherd blows me every morning, his dogs obey. I want to call the wolves, I have no say in who hears my voice. I am a slave to his lungs. The Viking who is a whistle, the tongues. One day a wolf came to the flock, I whistled. whistled a different note, the wolf understood. I had a throat of my own will for a moment. The wolf ate 3 sheep. The Viking, who is a whistle, the key. Against a rock I cracked in half, he threw me in a stream. I had a laugh as I floated away. I was free for the first time in years. The Viking, who is a whistle, the tears. A child found me on the bank, she blew me for joy. I made a sound like a Viking boy, shouting for his mother. The child named me Thor, the Viking, who is a whistle, the floor. So if you find a bone whistle that sounds like a battle cry, do not blow it, you will die, or worse, the Viking inside will make you his mouth. The Viking, who is a whistle, the South. Whistle, Viking, bone pipe note. He lives inside a shepherd's coat. He calls, he cries, he has no eyes. The whistle, Viking. The song of the Viking, who returned as fog. I died in a battle far from home. My body was never found. I became the fog that rose off the ground. Every morning I cover the fjord where my children play. The Viking who returned as fog, the gray. I watch my son from the mist. He is old now, older than me. He walks with a stick, he cannot see my shape, but he feels my cold on his cheek. He knows I am near, the Viking who returned as fog, the tear. My daughter weeps in her hall. She thinks I abandoned her. I wrap my fog around her shoulders. I am the fur she cannot see. I kiss her hair with my damp breath, the Viking who returned as fog, the death. The young Vikings laugh at the fog. They do not know it is me. They sail through me, I slow their speed. navigate with fear. The Viking who returned as far. The seer. One day my son sailed into me. He whispered, "Father, is that you?" I could not answer, but I turned the fog blue. For a moment he saw the color. He wept and turned his ship around. The Viking who returned as far. The sound. I will never leave this fjord. I am the mist that stays. I will watch my grandchildren grow. I will count their days. I will cover their enemies with a blindness that I send. The Viking who returned as fog. The friend. So if you sail into a fog that smells of old battles and pine, do not curse it. The Viking sign is on you. He will guide you home or send you to the rocks. The Viking who returned as fog. The locks. Viking mist of home. He never has to fight alone. He drifts, he hides, he has no ties. The fog Viking. The guides. Viking, who was a worm in the I am a worm in the earth. I turn the soil with my skin. I was a Viking. I had a din of battle in my ears. Now I am silent in the dark. The Viking who is a worm. The spark. Turned me into this when I burned her garden. She said, "You will live in the earth, you will harden nothing. You will eat the roots of plants." The Viking who is a worm. The trance. I have seen the bones of the dead beneath the ground. I have wrapped myself around the lost and found of 1,000 graves. I am the keeper of the rot. The Viking who is a worm. The spots. An oak tree grew above me. Its roots were my home. I climbed them in the spring. I was the foam of the soil. I felt the sap rise like blood in my veins. The Viking who is a worm. The rains. The oak was cut by a Viking for a longship's keel. I went with the wood. I felt the steel of the axe again. I was part of a ship that sailed the fjord. The Viking who is a worm. The sword. the ship sank in a battle, I returned to the earth. I am a worm again, the birth of a new cycle. I will become a tree once more, the Viking who is a worm, the core. So if you dig in the earth and find a worm with a scar on its side, do not use it for bait. The tide of its curse will pull you under the ground, the Viking who is a worm, the drowned. He turns the earth with his own ring. He burrows, he waits, he has no gates. The worm, Viking, the fates. The Jarl, who was a tear. I am a tear, I fell from a widow's eye. I was a Jarl, I watched my people die. In a famine I did nothing, I was afraid. The Jarl who is a tear, the blade. The widow cried me onto her cheek, I rolled down her face. She wiped me on her sleeve, I had no place to hide. I felt the wool of her grief absorb my salt. The Jarl who is a tear, the fault. I dried into a salt stain, a white mark on the cloth. The widow wore me to the store, she was not wroth with me. She did not know I was her Jarl in shame. The Jarl who is a tear, the name. Oh, she washed her sleeve, I dissolved into the water. I flowed to the river, I was the daughter of the sea again. I returned to the fjord where I was born. The Jarl who is a tear, the thorn. The fjord recognized me, it swallowed me whole. I became a wave, I had a soul of water. I crashed on the shore where my hall once stood. The Jarl who is a tear, the flood. I have been reigning on my old kingdom for 100 years. I wash the bones of my people, the tears of the sky are my apology. I am the storm, the Jarl who is a tear, the warm. So if you feel a raindrop that make it, you will forget your own name. The jar inside will make you weep. The jar who is a tear, the deep. Tear jar, salt of the sea, he fell from a widow's knee. He cries, he falls, he has no walls. The tear jar, the cause. Casting silver light across the forest, white wolves moved among the pines, silent as drifting winter mist. Their eyes reflected ancient wisdom, known only to the spirits of the North. A band of Vikings followed closely, crossing valleys beneath the stars. The wolves seemed to guide them toward a destiny yet unseen. Every step carried purpose, every breath formed clouds of frost within the cold night air. The journey lasted many days, through storms and frozen landscapes. Yet the wolves never disappeared, always visible in the distance. Their presence strengthened the warriors and filled them with confidence. During the harshest moments, one evening they reached our ridge. 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 One evening they reached a ridge, overlooking a vast white plain. Far below stood an enemy army, waiting beneath dark banners. The warriors studied the scene, knowing their greatest test was about to begin. One evening they reached our ridge. One evening they reached our ridge. One evening they reached our ridge. One evening they reached our. The battle erupted at sunrise as snow swirled across the field. Axes flashed beneath pale light and war cries shook the valley. The wolves watched from snowy hills, witnessing the courage below as legends came to life. Hours later, victory arrived. The
enemies scattered before them. The warriors raised their weapons high, celebrating beneath the winter sky. The wolves lifted their heads and howled toward the heavens, as if honoring the brave. That sound echoed far away, across mountains and frozen seas. A song carried by the wind, for all who respected courage. The walls of Valhalla remain, symbols of strength and loyalty, for generations to come. One dingen Erik Starens, 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 one dingen Erik Starens. Far beyond the northern forests, a mountain rose toward the heavens, its summit hidden by clouds, its slopes buried beneath snow. Many had gazed upon it, yet few had reached its peak. Through the harsh winter winds, a band of warriors accepted the challenge before them gladly, not for treasure or reward, but for the honor of the climb. The mountain called to them, like a voice carried by wind, across the frozen land. The ascent tested their strength. Steep cliffs blocked the path. Snowstorms reduced visibility, and icy winds cut deeply. Yet the warriors continued upward, supporting one another always, through every difficult step. Days passed beneath gray skies, the summit still far above, but determination never faded within their fearless hearts. Every obstacle overcome made them stronger than before, and closer to their goal. At last the clouds parted, revealing the snowy peak. The warriors climbed the final ridge and stood above the world. Mountains stretched endlessly below, like waves upon a frozen sea, beneath the morning sun. They raise their banners proudly, allowing the wind to carry them across valleys and distant forests, as symbols of perseverance, a reminder that true strength comes from refusing to surrender when the path becomes difficult. As evening approached the summit, the warriors began their descent, carrying memories that would remain for the rest of their lives, and stories destined to become songs beside northern fires for many winters to come.
Blanket of darkness, snow drifted through the air, and silence ruled the forest. Only a single torch remained, burning against the cold, along a forgotten path. A lone Viking carried it through the endless winter woods, its warm glow lighting the snow beneath ancient pine trees. The journey ahead was long, yet he never slowed his pace, despite the freezing wind. Reminded him of home and those he loved, of great halls filled with laughter and companions gathered by fire. Its flame represented hope during the darkest hours of every difficult journey. Appeared emerging from the snowy mist, each carrying their own torch, until dozens lit the forest. Their combined light transformed the darkness around them into a path forward. Together they crossed valleys and climbed frozen hills, their torches visible for miles against the winter night, a symbol of unity among those who understood the value of brotherhood. The great fortress of stone, standing proudly in the snow. The warriors raised their torches and welcome the new day with courage and optimism for whatever lay ahead. Faded, the memory remains strong, a reminder that even one light can guide many through darkness, and that true strength grows brightest when shared among brothers beneath the northern sky. Snow covered the northern plains as a mighty king rode onward upon a magnificent white horse through forests of ancient pines. Its breath formed clouds of mist within the cold morning air. As they crossed the wilderness, the horse moved with confidence across deep drifts of snow. Its powerful hooves carried the king through every challenge. Together they had traveled across mountains and valleys for many winters before. The people welcomed their ruler whenever he entered a village. Children watched in amazement as the white horse passed by, for it seemed almost legendary, a companion worthy of kings and northern heroes alike. One winter a great threat arose from beyond the mountain passes. An enemy army approached, seeking to conquer the north. The king answered immediately, gathering warriors from every clan to defend their homeland. The white horse led the march across snowy forests and rivers, its strength never faltering despite the harsh conditions. The sight inspired confidence among every warrior present before the coming battle. Victory arrived through courage and unity among the clans. The enemy retreated southward, defeated by northern resolve. The king returned home proudly, still riding his faithful companion beneath the winter sky. Years later, songs remembered not only the king himself, but also the white horse who carried him through storms, a symbol of loyalty, strength and enduring friendship. friendship across the ages.
A snowy valley, a great hall stood proudly, its roof covered in snow, its windows glowing warmly against the cold northern night, like a beacon of hope within the wilderness. Warriors arrived from afar, crossing mountains and forests to gather beneath its roof during the longest winter nights. There they shared stories of voyages and victories beside roaring fires. The sound of music, while snow fell quietly outside, covering the sleeping world. The warmth within seemed endless, protected from every storm by thick wooden walls. An old warrior stood before the gathered crowd and began telling a tale of a voyage long ago, across seas filled with ice and mountains touched by clouds, beyond known horizons. Every listener remained silent, captured by the story, as heroes faced hardship with courage and determination. Their adventures inspiring dreams within younger warriors seated near the fire. As the tale came to an end, tears filled the hall. Cups were raised proudly in honor of the brave, whose deeds survive through memory and through songs passed down across generations. Outside, the snow continued falling, yet inside the hall, the spirit of the north burned bright within every warrior present, a fire no winter could ever extinguish, while stories remained alive.
sea lay frozen still beneath a sky of pale gray light. A mighty longship stood trapped within the grasp of endless ice. Its dragon prow faced the horizon, as if longing for open waters beyond the frozen world. Warriors gathered on the shore, studying the silent vessel. Snow covered every plank and rope, while frost glittered on the mast. Yet hope remained among them, for the sea would not remain frozen forever beneath the sky. The days passed slowly onward, storms swept across the fjord. The longship endured every challenge, standing proud against the cold, like the warriors themselves who refused to surrender to hardship or despair. One evening beneath moonlight, the ice began to crack. A distant sound echoed across the frozen landscape. The sea was awakening, and the warriors smiled at the promise of change. Soon channels opened through the ice, allowing water to flow again. The longship gently shifted as the waves returned beneath it. The warriors prepared eagerly for another great voyage across northern seas. At dawn the sails were raised, their fabric catching the wind. The longship moved forward slowly, then faster with every moment. Cheers echoed along the shoreline as the vessel reclaimed its place upon the ocean. The journey continued westward toward lands yet unseen, and songs later remembered the ship that waited patiently through winter's longest season, until freedom returned once more to the sea and sky. Across the snow, between forests and silent hills, the winter wind swept gently across the untouched landscape. A band of Viking warriors followed the ancient path to
toward the unknown horizon. Their footprints mark the wilderness, a sign of those who dare to travel beyond familiar lands. In search of purpose and adventure, every mile revealed new wonders, hidden beneath winter's veil, across the northern world. Ooh, ah. The forest grew ever deeper, ancient pines surrounded them, their branches heavy with snow, their roots buried beneath frost. Yet the warriors continued onward, guided by determination alone, through the endless white silence. One evening they reached a ridge overlooking a frozen valley. The moon illuminated the snow like silver spread across the earth. The sight inspired every warrior to continue the long journey toward distant dreams. Days later they discovered ruins hidden among snowy cliffs. Stone pillars stood weathered by countless winters before. The warriors explored respectfully, listening to echoes of history carried upon the wind. The trail eventually ended at the shore of a frozen sea, stretching farther than sight beneath a pale northern sky. There the warriors paused briefly before beginning another chapter of their endless adventure. As they moved forward again, the snow erased their footprints, yet their story continued living within songs and memories, passed from generation to generation, across the lands of the north, for ages to come. The first howl echoed softly across the sleeping forest. A majestic white wolf appeared among the snow-covered trees. Its eyes shone like ice, reflecting the northern moon above the silent wilderness. A group of Vikings followed the mysterious creature carefully, for old legends spoke often of wolves guiding the worthy toward hidden places of power, lost beyond ordinary paths, deep within the north. The wolf moved gracefully forward, leaving tracks in fresh snow. The warriors followed steadily across frozen streams and ridges, trusting ancient instincts more than maps or directions. During the winter journey, snow began falling heavily, yet the wolf never stopped. Its silhouette remained visible against the white landscape, a beacon within the storm, leading them ever onward through the frozen wilderness. At dawn they reached a valley hidden among towering peaks, a place untouched by time, covered entirely in snow. The warriors stood in awe at the beauty before them. Beneath the rising sun, the wolf climbed a rocky hill and looked back one last time before disappearing quietly into the northern forest. Its purpose now fulfilled, its path complete at last. Among the winter shadows, the warriors carried its memory for the rest of their lives, a reminder that guidance can appear in unexpected forms to those willing to listen to the voice of the wild and the wisdom of the North. Across the frozen northern plains, where endless snow met distant peaks, a band of warriors stood watch through winter's longest nights. Their eyes scanned the horizon for signs carried by the wind across the silent wilderness. The cold grew stronger each day, ice-covered rivers and valleys, yet the guardians remained steadfast upon their lonely posts. For protecting the North was more than duty alone. It was a sacred calling. One evening beneath moonlight, dark figures appeared far away, moving slowly through the snow toward the northern borderlands. The guardians raised their horns, their warning echoing loudly across mountains and forests. the stormy sky. The battle began at dawn, snow swirling around steel. The frozen earth trembled beneath marching warriors, yet the guardians never yielded, holding their ground proudly through every fierce attack. Hour after hour they fought, their courage inspiring others, their determination spreading like fire through dry wood, until victory finally arrived and the enemy retreated into the distant wilderness. When peace returned once more, the guardians resumed their watch, standing proudly in the snow, as they always had before, protecting the lands they loved beneath the endless northern sky. For generations yet to come.